Hey girl, hey, this is Dr. Tasha and I am back. For anybody who may not be familiar with the channel, I am Dr. Tasha Rogers. I'm an OBGYN practicing and I own my own practice out of Atlanta, Georgia. So on this channel, we do things a little bit different. We come with the vibes, we come with the humor, we come with the real life, lifestyle stuff, just in general, women's health, which sometimes translates into men's health. We don't discriminate around here, but we come with the vibes so that you can truly ask and answer the questions that you want to know. So if you are not subscribed, what you're waiting for is subscribe. And guys, please like these videos because then they keep popping up in your timeline. You don't miss anything. And I just want to make sure that you get all the benefit of watching this channel. So make sure you are subscribed, girls, okay? And guys, because I'll be dropping tea for y'all. And next week might be tea for y'all too. So anyway, I want to get into girl moms. And as a matter of fact, we can even go as far as to say girl moms and girl dads, okay? Because we got some dads out there that are raising girls and they don't know what to do. I hate to say it, but they don't know what to do. And hell, some of the moms don't know what to do. I want to talk from a medical professional standpoint because they're like, well, do you got girls? Sure don't. But guess what I do? I talk to girls all day. I examine girls all day. I evaluate girls all day because as soon as you walk into my office, I have to read you. Well, into the exam room, not my office, but I have to read you. I have to be able to see where you're coming from, see what your fund of knowledge is, see what's really happening with you. So evaluating women, girls, young girls is what I do all day long. And they talk to me because I make it easy to talk to me. So I want to convey and again, this channel is never just for Black women, but it is especially for Black women, if that makes any sense. So what do I always say? Anything that I say, you eat the meat and throw away the bones. If it doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply to you. But just know a hit dog will holler. So we don't judge anybody on this channel, but we do hold people accountable. And I say what I say. So never to be offensive, never to be judgmental, because that is not my jam. But I say what I say. So the reality is that I'm coming from a medical professional standpoint. I'm coming from a Black woman's standpoint, and I'm coming from a Black professional standpoint. So let's talk about it. I did a video on boy moms and what boy moms need to know. And I was so happy that so many boy moms found it to be honest, found it to be accurate, and also found it to be helpful to pass along. And I kept getting requests to do one for girl moms, do one for girl moms, do one for girl moms. And initially I wasn't going to because I'm like, one, I don't want to be offensive, but then two, it's like, well, we're girls, so do the same thing for your girl you would do for you. But it's not actually true, right? These young ladies today need something a little bit different than what we had. And I think a lot of times the translation is missed because we don't know how to give them what we didn't have, right? Times are different. So it put people, we always say as, Gen Xers, baby boomers, or whomever, that, the players may have changed, but the game hasn't changed. The game has changed, y'all. The game has changed. The game has changed. We got to change our thinking because the game has changed, okay? So when we talk about being a girl mom, things are so much different for them. Like I try and stay up on the language, the slang as we used to call it, but the language that the kids use now, like the basic language for calling a girl a hoe is a 6'7". I don't know why 6'7" and not 5'8" or 1'3". I don't know. Okay. But if you hear your son saying it, or if you hear your daughter saying it about somebody else, she's a 6'7". She's a 6'7". That means she's a hoe. She's for the streets. She's for the community. Okay. That's what that means. And basically we used to be like, I'm showing my age, but she a skeezer, or she a hoe. That's what we used to say. Is it any different? No, it's probably a little bit more humane, but I'm taking this 6'7" thing. It's just the whole thing. It might be a little bit deeper than that because these kids, they be honest, but they don't be all the way honest. So I have been told that, if you hear 6'7", he called me a 6'7". we would be like 6 or 7 out of 10. Like, you still cute, sis. No, 6, 7 is a hoe. The game is a lot different for them because in our day, either you wrote a note to somebody, you wrote a note about somebody, or you saw somebody face to face, or y'all was on the landline at the house talking smack, and then you got a troublemaker in the group who gonna throw that other person on the three-way, and you're gonna be talking about somebody, and they're gonna be on the three-way. That's the kind of stuff that we had to deal with, and it was kind of a either up in your face or not. Either you a punk or you not. Now, because these kids have social media, no disrespect to anybody or their kid, but low key, they're socially retarded. Like, sometimes you be thinking to yourself, are you dumb? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, but it's different for them. They hide behind facades. They hide behind the social media apps. They aren't real people. They're avatars. Like, so it's so different for them because their methods of harassment, their methods of self-esteem, their methods of shining are so much different than anything that we could ever conceptualize or even think about. They want to look like they have a thing. We have gone to work every day hard to earn a thing. They don't really care if they have it or not. They just want to look like they do. So it's a lot different for them, and we have to start recognizing that it is different for them than it was for us. The game has changed. Never thought it would, but it has. Okay. Also, a lot of times communication is an issue too, because one, we don't know how to communicate. And you heard me say a million times, you come into my office, it's 90 degrees outside. First of all, it's Atlanta. Okay. We almost had Thanksgiving and it's still damn near 70 degrees outside. Okay. We ain't Florida, but we ain't far off. Right. And so, but in the summertime, granted, it's 95, 100 on an average day in Atlanta. How many times have young ladies come up into my office with full sweatsuits on, baseball caps or hats with the hood up, socks and slides on? You all right, sis? Like, is it still hot outside? Because it was hot when I came in this morning. What is you wearing? And it makes me feel like I don't know if I can talk to you because my reality and your reality are different. Because, yes, I'm menopausal and I gets hot, but look what you got on. You all right? So I can only imagine how a lot of you parents feel, but think about what used to happen back in the day. And this is so alarming for me because we have stopped translating things down in our community. We've stopped. We judge young ladies for not understanding how to deal with work situations, or understanding how to deal with other women, or for understanding how to deal with men for that fact. But we stopped translating certain stuff. I'm about to show my age again. Do y'all remember, and you may not, and some of it, I know y'all do, when back in the day, it used to be, I can't even remember, it wasn't every week. It might have been like every couple of weeks or once a month, where it seemed like you got together with all of your cousins. They could have been like family friends, actual cousins, but y'all was all cousins. And it might have seemed like 20 of y'all, and y'all running around playing, y'all outside, y'all having a good time, y'all upstairs ripping and running. Every now and again you hear, y'all be quiet up there, every now and again. But the grown folks was downstairs frying fish, listening to music, playing cards, doing whatever it is that they do, right? They were doing all the things. And y'all were just having a good time. You come and say, what you down here for? Because remember, there was no cell phones. There was a landline. So if it was somebody who was a teenager, you wasn't about to use that phone in that kitchen while the grown folks was talking. Okay. And y'all had a little extra money if y'all had a couple of phones in the house. But that phone was in that kitchen and you was not about to use that while the grown folks was talking. And so everybody remembered that. And I'm sure y'all remember it too. But that was when the older aunties and the mamas and the folks, that was when the folks talked to the youngers and talked to each other about how to handle these men, these cheating men, a man that ain't doing a thing, a jealous chick, a side chick. That is when they talked. And that is when they learned. And that is when the information was pollinated down the line and how to behave and how to act and what to do and what not to do and behaviors and demeanors. And we stopped that. And I don't care what anybody says. I think it was the crack that had our community stop it, because grandmas now are raising kids. They don't have time to sit for that. Mamas are now not in home. They in the streets because whatever. And so our community slowly but surely stopped that. And that is where a lot of learning got lost. That is where a lot of decorum got lost. And this video is going to serve for not only the girls of girl moms, but sometimes the girl moms themselves didn't have anybody to teach them. It's so funny when I do these videos, especially on hygiene, I get a lot of women who DM me who are like, I didn't know a lot of these things. Thank you. Nobody taught me. And these are grown women. And so don't just be assumed that because somebody is a certain age, they have a certain knowledge set, right? And then these people have children. And so you can't give somebody what you don't have. So I'm a firm believer in a hit dog will holler. And what I'm saying is that don't be offended by anything I'm saying. If it's something you can learn, great. If it's something you already knew, take it as confirmation, sis. Okay? So there's no blame. It's just blessings. And the reality of the situation is we have to stop treating our daughters as our friends. And it's not that you can't be her friend. You're supposed to be her friend, but she can't be yours. And what does that mean? Stop laying the burdens of your relationships and your life on your children. Stop having them wear the things that you would have. Stop letting them get the same color weave that you get. Stop thinking it's okay for a 14-year-old to have snuffle up against the lashes. No, these things are inappropriate. They are not adults. They're children. They are teenagers. Allow them to be who they are. Allow them to live out each phase of their life, because you don't have a friend that you trust and that you feel like is truly a friend. Don't make your child that friend. It's inappropriate, and you're forcing her through a stage of life without learning what she needs to learn in that stage of life. Does that make sense? So it's good to have a great relationship with your child, but don't bring her up to your level. Be at her level and be able to say, so what's going on in your life? What young man are you talking to? Because I hope we're talking to a young king, not a YN. Like, what we got going on and what's happening at school and who says what to who and this, that, and the third. Teach her her beauty. She doesn't want a natural. She wants a bust down. She wants a relaxer. Find somebody who can do a relaxer and make sure she gets her ends trimmed. She wants a natural. Let her wear a natural. She wants a weave, let it be an age appropriate weave. And you decide your family rules. And nobody's wearing a weave before age 15. Figure out what the family rules are and make your child abide by that. Don't allow your children, especially your daughters, to govern the house rules. Something that burns me, and I'm sorry, as we move into talking about self-esteem, one thing that burns me is when I see a mom or dad present and I see these girls, I don't care whether it's the style or not, excuse my language, the shit is inappropriate. You see these girls 14, 15, 16, I don't care, even 18, 19, or 20, with the bottom half of their asses hanging out of shorts. First of all, I got an issue with that because half of them got cellulite all over the place at 15, 16, 17. You walk around with a bag of nickels hanging out there, but that's what do you expect? And then the moms and dads don't say anything. I don't give a damn if somebody thinks it's the style. What are you expecting? And then you mad when your kid gets harassed or touched, or worse, you get the fruit from the tree you're barking up. And so for the person who says, well, they should be able to wear what they want, we should be. We should live in a society where all people are equal. We should live in a society where women make the same amount of money as men. We should live in a society where black men can get pulled over on the side of the road without it getting cracked upside the head, but we don't. Okay, so at the end of the day, part of your protection as the parent to be like, what are you achieving? Whose attention are you trying to get? And what kind of attention are you trying to get? Take your ass upstairs and put some clothes on. I don't understand. I will never forget. And at 50, this lesson still sits with me. it was after junior prom. And you know, the next day, because my mom wasn't about all that, you staying out. No, the prom, we gonna go to a party. So after the prom, then you gonna get home because you ain't grown and ain't nothing in the streets but trouble at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. No, ma'am. Get to the house. So the next day, we were all going to Great Adventure. If you from up north, you know. Great Adventure down here is I can't even call it Six Flags. Six Flags is what it is down here, but Great Adventure is what it is up north. Right. And the next day we were going to Great Adventure. So the squad called me like, come on, we're going to Great Adventure. I was so excited. I was like, okay. Then I went upstairs and yes, I took a shower, but she probably was a quick boy. And I had my little Sergio Tacchini, if you know, my little Sergio Tacchini tennis short set. And I was out the door. My mom was on the couch. She said, what? Didn't you just go upstairs? Didn't you just go upstairs to get dressed? And I said, yeah, I'm dressed. She said, if you don't get your ass back upstairs and get in that shower and let the damn water hit you this time, that was too damn fast. Get your ass upstairs and wash again. It stuck with me. It stuck with me because not that I did it, but I was so in a rush to get, I didn't keep what was important. I mean, I washed, but yeah. And I don't even remember what happened in the shower before my mama said something. But the point is that she noticed, what the hell? No, it ain't about what you're wearing. No, get upstairs and get it right. And this is what we have to start not only knowing for our daughters, but for ourselves. Like, it's not about what's on you. It's about what's in you. It's about, how you carry yourself. It's about the cleanliness. Not about the Chanel bags and the long nails and the whatever else these kids got going. These lashes, you got long lashes, but your skin looks terrible. When last time you washed your face? Oh, you can't wash your face because you're going to wash your eyebrows off and your lashes going to get loose. So we can't take care of our skin because all the stuff that we got, all the adornments that we have hiding our actual face. Yeah, no, that's not what we need. We need to start teaching these girls esteem. Like, it is about cleanliness. And I'm going to tell you, and this is what you need to tell these girls. A guy is going to choose a girl that has the clear skin, that has neat hair, that appears to be clean, that has a fun and happy spirit over the girl with a bad attitude and the small little pinpoint bumps in her face because her skin ain't clean, and the bust down weave that you can see the lace around the front, which I ain't dragging lace, but if you're going to have lace, make it neat. Or you can see her leave out because her leave out is a 4C and her weave is Burmese. Yeah, no. But you know why? Because she's not polished. She's not neat. And it shows that she's not caring about herself. What she's putting value in is the things, not herself as a person. And we have to start instilling that in our daughters. It's not about how big your butt is, because if he don't want you with a flat butt, baby, he don't want you. And maybe some mamas need to hear that too. It ain't about your booty. It ain't about your boobs. How much do you care about yourself? Like, where are you with it? How strong can you stand? How 10 toes down can you stand? How much positive energy can you give? And you need to display that for your daughters. They need to be able to speak up in a positive fashion, articulate who they are. Do you know how many young girls I talk to and their heads are down, their eyes are down, they won't look me eye to eye, they mumble. I'm like, sweetie, I'm actually hard of hearing, which I am. I'm actually hard of hearing. What are you saying? I don't understand you. What did you say? What's your name? Lift your head up. Lift your head up and talk to me. Self-esteem. Self-esteem, it says everything. It says everything. And it's really interesting because sometimes some mothers may not have strong self-esteem themselves. And then when you get a daughter who does have a sense of self-esteem, you look at it as audacity. You look at it, she's so, she just got this thing with her. So don't mistake audacity and disrespect for strength and self-esteem. They differ. What does she give off? Does she give off negativity? Does she give off stank? Or does she give off strength and boldness and willing to debate a point without being disrespectful? Those are different things. That's the daughter that you should be looking to raise, okay? And this day and age, you need to. Part of feeling empowered is hygiene. Okay. And I know that, the girlies are on social media, they watch the influencers, they see this, they see that. And 9 times out of 10, not 10 times out of 10, but 9 times out of 10, the influencers are getting paid to push certain products. And it's not to say that they don't believe in these products, because for me, I don't care what you pay me. I'm not about to push anything that I feel like might do harm or might not do good that I'm saying. So I'm not going to push anything that I don't agree with, basically. But at the end of the day, some people may not have that, but either they're going to be talking about different hygiene this and hygiene that, and TikTok was telling people to do crazy stuff like boric acid and coconut oil and the coochie and all this kind of craziness. So let me just give it to you if you haven't seen it in any of my videos. First and foremost, when your daughter gets to, and I tell people usually it's around the time they start a period, they should be seeing their pediatrician on the regular. Pediatricians tend to get uncomfortable with period stuff, right? So you can send them to a gynecologist. Now, when you are sending your daughter to a gynecologist, make sure it's the right kind of gynecologist. And when I say is, understand, make sure y'all are on the same page. So when I see young girls, the young girls that I see are certainly going to be, I'm going to judge where they are based on their conversation. So I'm going to get some 12-year-olds who, they got crop shirts on and booty short. I mean, not booty shorts, and low-waisted pants, and everything is tight. And, they just keep rubbing their little bust down. That's some 12-year-olds. And then I get some 12-year-olds who got their Chuck Taylors on and they sitting there watching a tablet and you understand? Either way, I'm going to meet them where they are. So if where you are, I can tell you out here chasing Peter, y'all know what that means. We're going to talk about boys. We're going to talk about not being alone with boys and being in certain situations and how their penis works. And once it gets hard, it's hard. And baby, they're what they're going to be looking for, and being safe. Not even necessarily about sex, but being safe. Some little girls, we're going to talk about hygiene, or everybody, we're going to talk about hygiene, but some are only going to get the hygiene talk and what you use and what you don't use, and when to talk to your mom and what should be coming out of your vagina and what shouldn't be coming out of your vagina, and different things like that. So don't be afraid to take your daughter to the gynecologist because you feel like a GYN visit is going to facilitate them getting a speculum and cultures and tests. No, I'm going to meet them where they are. And these are conversations that you should not be afraid to have either. You guys know I'm a big proponent. Once a female has started having periods, be careful with shampooing in the shower. Liquid soap is generally a no. The only two soaps that I co-sign, you know me, or the Clean and Cute Body Wash Bar, as well as Dove White Original Bar Soap. Not the liquid. I don't care who makes the liquid. If it's a liquid, it contains sodium lauryl sulfate, which is basic, and it will change the balance of things in the vagina area. So cannot use body wash, okay? I hate it. I know the girls love it, but they can't do it. You want to get her one of them little, I don't like loofahs anyway, because you got to rub it up your booty to make sure you clean your booty. And I just be feeling like, some people don't wipe that good, and you have toilet paper chips or doo-doo chips all up in that loofah. I ain't for it. Teach these girls from early. Get a washcloth. Wash your body with a white washcloth so you can know what's coming up off of it. Okay, if you don't wash that booty one time and that washcloth ain't clean, wash it again and wash it again and keep washing it until what you put down there is what you bring from down there. So if you put white bubbles down there, make sure white bubbles come back up. Okay, but if them bubbles is brown, ain't no more bubbles on there, the washcloth look a little brown, wipe it again. You have to teach them what to do and not assume that they know. Talk to them about hair on their body. If they're like, yeah, I don't want that. Okay, you can nair in this area. You can shave in this area. Let me teach you how to safely do it in this area. Talk to them, okay? Teach them. Take them step by step. I'm your mama. I done seen your stuff before. I don't want to see your coochie because I'm telling you, teenage girls, for whatever reason, they do not want their mama looking at their coochie. They don't want it. So if you be like, listen, just put your panties on, whatever the case may be, come on, I'm going to teach you how to do this. I'm going to teach you how to do that. And teach them how to do things safely. Do not take your 14-year-old for a wax. Please, just don't do it. Like, her skin is still very immature, and it's just, Yeah, don't do that. I'm sorry, I'm just not for that. I believe, 18 and up. Like, as far as if they want to shave, let them shave, teach them how to shave. You know how I feel. Do not get one of those expensive razors. Get like the Bic or Schick or whatever it is that's like six and or no name brand that's like six in a bag for like $2. I want you to get those. And shave everything. If they're gonna shave their armpits, you have a treasure trail on your stomach. I think that's what it is. On your stomach, shave the hair on your stomach. You want to shave your legs, shave your vagina, shave everything in one fell swoop, then throw the razor away. I know people like that razor's still good. It's not, it's dulled. And then the skin naturally has staph and strep on the skin, and now it's on that razor. And now you're going to cap the razor and sit it on the ledge in the shower where the bacteria is going to continue to grow. You're going to use it again on a duller razor, and you're going to get a nick. And then the last thing you want is staph or strep up in that little nick, and you get some microscopic infections. Do not do it. So use the cheap razors, not the expensive ones. Use the cheap razors and throw it away after every use. At 50 cents per razor, you got your 50 cent worth out that razor. Okay? Throw that thing away. Yeah. So different things like that. Now, if you have a daughter who's like all into the fragrances and the scents, which most of them are going to be, invest in nice body butters, because they're not expensive. They'll last for a long time. They'll stay moisturized. They won't be ashy. So invest in some nice body butters. And maybe for holiday, you can buy them perfume. It don't have to be a $200-$300 bottle of perfume. You can, I don't know, what is this place? Sephora. Sephora has nice little $40 or $50 bottles of perfume that they can, wear, or body mist, so they can start getting used to having nice fragrances without using that stuff in the shower. We don't want them covering up odors. And if they do get, and they're like, Mom, I smell a thing, or I see a thing, or I got some stuff coming out my coochie. And a lot of times they're going to be afraid to say something because they're going to be afraid they did something wrong because they don't know what it is. So you can say to them, do you have any discharge, like anything, like out of your vagina? Is it white? Is it gray? Does it smell funny? Is it thick? Is it thin? Because that can be normal. Don't tell them it's normal. Say it can be normal. And then be like, well, yeah. Be like, all right, well, next time you get in the shower, let me just take a look at your panties and see. And you get a chance to see their panties too, because, baby, if you got your child doing their own laundry, baby, and these panties is looking panties is $5. Anything that costs $5 should not last you 2, 3, and 4 years. Okay? If it does, you ought to be scared. Okay? So at the end of the day, do not be afraid. Like every holiday, birthday time, get her 5 pairs of panties. Be like, go in that drawer and throw away 5 pairs. Holiday, Christmas, 10 pairs. Go throw 10 pairs away. Anytime you see a sale, we're not targeting anymore, but anytime you see a sale at like, I don't know, whatever store you go to, Victoria's Secret, H&M got panties. All of these stores, get 5 or 6 pairs, throw 5 or 6 pairs away. Okay, they shouldn't have, permanent streaky deekies in their drawers. No, throw them away. I don't believe in period panties. Why should you be walking around with a bunch of holy drawers on that has expired old period blood in it? Girl, throw them away and get some new ones. And then figure out what your menstrual needs are. Is your pad not thick enough? Are you not changing it frequently enough? What is going on? Did you just simply have an accident? Which happens, throw those away. Okay? Just saying. Now you got a couple spots and you wash your panties with Clean and Cute panty wash and it comes out great. But if not, throw them away. Okay? Just saying. So hygiene is a big deal. And males are very, very interesting when it comes to hygiene. Being a gynecologist, it's funny because males will have conversations with me that they won't have with other women. And I've heard multiple men say, I can stand next to a woman and I know when she's on her period. That should never be. That should never be. People say it smells like period blood. Well, period blood, it should smell maybe a little metallic because there's a little iron in it, but not really. So at the end of the day, if you're smelling like period, it smells like period blood. Yeah, that's not, no. And if you have a smell, then 1, you're not changing your products frequent enough, or 2, you have an infection that needs to be treated. So we don't want the boys to be, and men, I don't know why their nose is so very keen to it. And we don't want our young ladies like, oh, you stink, you must be on your period, you must be. And now all of a sudden, if she really is on her period, then we got an issue. We got a self-esteem issue. We got a little girl who don't want to go to school when she's on her period because she's scared the boy's going to smell it, say something, make fun of her, whatever the case may be. Okay. Also, for parents of younger girls, when they're like 10, 12 or whatever, they're just starting their period, always make sure those girls, when they kind of start their period, start them on like a little cute little crossbody bag. Nothing major. She ain't gotta be Coach. Go on Amazon, girl, and spend $10, $12. She'll be happy to have something that's even shaped like a little dog or like a little watermelon. Have her start wearing her crossbody bag every day, even if it's nothing in it but lip gloss and some gum. Right? And these kids now got cell phones, child, at 7 and 8. So have her put a phone in a bag. But, and the reason for that is that's where she's going to put her pad when it's time for her period. But you don't want her to only wear the crossbody bag when it's time for her period, because what's ultimately going to happen? The boy's going to be like, oh, you got your bag, you must be on your period. Don't nobody need that kind of embarrassment in third or fourth or what child, fifth or sixth, whatever grade they in when they start their periods these days. Nobody needs that type of embarrassment or being singled out. So if they start wearing a crossbody bag, they wear the crossbody bag all the time. Nobody has to know what's in it, not even the teacher, and it's okay. And you could tell your daughters it's okay if she, whispers to the teacher, can I talk to you about something, Miss Green? And then she gonna be like, I'm having my period, so I might ask to go to the bathroom a couple of more times this week. Miss Green knows. She gonna be like, all right, girl. So then when she raises her hand, can I go to the bathroom? Miss Green ain't gonna think she wanna be outside playing around, with the hall pass. I don't know if they still do hall passes, but with the hall pass or whatever, Miss Green knows she gotta go handle her BI business. Okay, so it's okay to tell her, but if it's a male teacher, I don't know how that goes. I don't want to discriminate against male teachers. I'm sure they understand too, but your 9-year-old daughter ain't gonna want to tell her male teacher that she on her period. So I don't know, but it's a thing. Okay, so that is that's a thing as far as now when it comes to periods, to say, well, how frequent should we be changing? That depends on your cycle. Now, if you are somebody with a heavy cycle, if you're changing your pad more than once an hour, you're bleeding too heavy. Like, you really need to immediately go get help. Now, at the end of the day, if you're somebody who changes like every 2 to 3 hours because you go to the bathroom, you don't like to see no spots on your pad, you don't like nothing, you don't like, that's not, you don't have to, you get what I'm saying? It's like you're not saturating, soaking through a padded hour. You're not doing that, right? But if you are changing, I would say the most you should go is about 4 hours, and change your pad. So every 3 to 4 hours is probably a good look at changing, staying fresh, not getting your pad saturated, not getting your skin irritated, and all the things. That will probably be my recommendation. Now, when it comes to periods, it's very, very interesting, because when girls are young, their periods can be abnormal, and those abnormal periods can be normal, meaning there's a tract. Think about, when we say tract in medicine, we mean TRACT. But I want you to think about tract in terms of TRACK. So there's a tract that goes from the brain, okay, to the lower brain, to the ovary, to the uterus, right? And that's like your menstrual, this reproductive tract. That tract is abnormal. The actual brain does not fully develop until age 25. So that tract is very, very abnormal, the reproductive tract. So you might have a daughter who starts a period at 13. She might not see another one until 14. And then it might be spotty. And so people are like, oh, you got abnormal periods, you must got PCOS, you must got this. No, that can be normal in a 13 or 14-year-old, or a 12 or 13, somebody just starting a period, right? So one, make sure you're just keeping track of what's happening with their cycles. But if you have somebody who has very heavy cycles, because again, these reproductive tracts are abnormal, are immature, and our bodies at that age respond to things like menstrual cramps. Oh, you can handle it at 28, 29, 30. Some of y'all can't. But a 14-year-old, their whole body, it's like a vasovagal response is what we call it. Their pressure might drop. They get nauseous. They get diarrhea. Some of them pass out. All of those things. If you have a daughter who has that type of response to their period, you really need to see a gynecologist. I'm going to do a whole nother video on that because that's too detailed as far as birth control and periods, and it's too detailed. So we're not going to go into it here, but I am going to do a video on it. But that's certainly something that you should evaluate. Don't keep her out of school. Take her to the gynecologist or the pediatrician and have that addressed, okay? One of the big things that I want to talk to you guys about is HPV vaccines in our daughters. Now, people are like, oh, my daughter don't need that right now. She's 10. Right, she's 10 now. Okay, at some point, she's going to be 18. At some point, she's going to be 28. Okay, at some point, good, bad, right, or wrong, she's going to make the decision to have unprotected sex. And now we got HPV. Okay, HPV is human papillomavirus, and it can cause cervical cancer or colorectal cancer. And actual cervical cancer is the only sexually transmitted cancer. So that means fully preventable, right? For the most part. So HPV, which is Gardasil, relatively safe vaccine, no real issues. If somebody's allergic to eggs, that's something we should have a conversation about. It's given at the pharmacy. It's a 3-shot series, and it will protect against those. That's why it's called Gardasil 9. It protects against those 9 types of HPV that we know are especially associated with cervical cancer. Again, it may not be an issue now, but it's going to be an issue later in life. The time span or the age span is ages 9 through 45. So get it sooner than later. You want to get this vaccine before your daughter is actually exposed to any types of HPV, because then it'll have the maximum effect. Okay. And we won't be dealing with, and we may still have to have colposcopies and different things like that, but it really can combat best to get the vaccine. And yes, I co-sign the vaccine. I recommend it for every single patient who comes in my practice. I recommend you get it for your daughters. I recommend you get it for your sons, because where you think the daughters are getting it from? I'm just saying. Okay. So please consider it. Talk to your partners about it. Talk to your daughters about it. But yes, that's one of those that I believe before they leave for college, even before they start having sex. And child, these kids is having sex in middle school. By the time they in high school, honey, they don't know how to do all the dips and tricks and all starring in all kinds of little at-home videos and everything, child. So, excuse me, girl, somebody was at the door. Anyway, so as far as the HPV vaccine is concerned, yes, get it for your sons, get it for your daughters. Talk to your daughters about it. Make sure they have it in middle school, honey, because like I said, by the time they get to high school, girl. But anyway, so that is definitely something that should be on your agenda to do. And if you're not sure about it, do your reading, but it is a relatively safe, like we've never had anybody that take a L from it. Like I said, we've had somebody pass out from it, and this was early on, years and years ago. I think there was like one case or something of people like passing out. And then again, if you have an egg allergy, we want to pay close attention to that. But either way, certainly something that we want to have conversations about. And also, moms, if you don't know this, okay, let me put this out there for y'all. Y'all know I do not play. Right now, HIV, we all, if you're a Gen X, baby boomer, y'all remember how horrible it used to be. Somebody get diagnosed. It wasn't like one pill like it is now. It was 20 pills twice a day. Maybe more than that, 40 pills, whatever. It was, somebody losing weight back in the day. Oh, they must have AIDS. Didn't really know about HIV. It was all AIDS. Somebody come in your house and your family, they got it. Or, we treating gay people funny and, making people sit on newspaper and don't touch none of the rest of the food. Only touch what's on your plate. They can't be on the barbecue grill. They can only eat out of paper plates. They got to sit at the table with the kids and and don't kiss nobody. It was a horrible time, right? And we've grown so much. And I think we've grown so much that we don't feel like it's a problem anymore. Well, Black women are 12% of the population, and we're 70% of the new HIV cases. And here in Atlanta, there is an epidemic that we're not talking about. And why are we not talking about it? Because it's Black women. But we need to be mindful of it. And there is a cure for HIV, and the cure is the prevention. The cure is the prevention. Did you know that there's a shot that you can take every 2 months that will 99.8% prevent you from contracting HIV? every 2 months. And no, it does not introduce HIV into your body. What it does is it prevents HIV from making copies. So let's say you have sex, bust down, you don't know who your partner is, you had a one night stand, you don't know what their status is, or the condom broke, whatever the case may be. And you like, oh my God. Well, within 72 hours, if that person is HIV positive, then the virus will start making copies in your body. And then you are HIV positive. But the medicine, it prevents your body from allowing HIV to make copies, if that makes any sense. So it is highly effective, but the injection is every 2 months. And it's crazy because people think, oh, I'm not in that group. Who's in that group? Everybody. If you're having sex with a human, you are. I don't care if you're married, single, 8 to 80, crippled or crazy. I don't care if you Miss Smith and you on a deaconess board, your husband is one of the associate pastors. Baby, y'all know what them pastors be doing over in the projects. Okay? I don't care if you on a Jack and Jill. Baby, he got a thought somewhere. You don't know. Okay, so don't assume because you're in a monogamous relationship that your partner is in a monogamous relationship. The only person who you can be responsible for is you. Some people are actually in relationships, and I have a patient who basically busts down and was like, I got this, and I got this, and I got this, and I got this. I can't tell that man to put on a condom. And I was like, you damn sure can't. But let me tell you what you can do. And she's happily on what we call PrEP, which is pre-exposure prophylaxis. And she's on PrEP. She's living her life. She's happy. She's not worried about contracting HIV. And this is certainly something to have a conversation with your daughters about, especially before leaving for college. You don't know. You don't know who she's going to run into. You don't know what situation she's going to be in. You don't know what the situation is going to be. And your goal is protection, not judgment, protection. Okay, so this is something that I want you guys to make sure that you at least know about so that your daughters can know about, right? And also, I want you guys to consider raising a daughter who's willing to speak up. Speak up for herself. Speak up for what's right, even against you. So at the end of the day, if you're wrong, it's not, your child can speak up without being disrespectful and saying, Mom, respectfully, I disagree, and being able to articulate their point. Speak up, encourage that in your daughters, not being nasty, not being disrespectful, but being able to articulate their point in school, to a man, anywhere. Be able to speak up. Have your daughter be that advocate. No, let me tell you about this HIV prevention medication. No, you need this HPV vaccine. No, he needs to put on a condom because I'm not trying to do this, that, and the third. No, what? Have your daughters be that girl. Be that girl to speak up. We need more of that. We so need more of that. We need young leaders. We need more Felicia Rashads and Lena Horns and all the things. And no disrespect to anybody, but not so much. Sexy Red gets paid to be who she is. I don't know who, some more ratchet rappers or whatever, but they get paid to do that. And your daughter needs to understand that this is her life. This is the rest of her life. We need women advocates. We need Black female soldiers who are going to be like, no, I want this and I want that and I want the things. Finally, can I please have y'all, I love the fact that our young people are strong-minded and they want their own businesses. But can you please tell your child that an entrepreneur is not a job title? That's not a job title. I want to be an entrepreneur. Doing what? I don't know. I just want to own my own business. You sound stupid. You sound dumb. So first of all, and yes, I did say it. First of all, it's okay to have an entrepreneurial spirit, but what are you interested in? You do realize that entrepreneurs actually have to learn something. You do realize, and I had to break this down to a young lady one day. She stood and looked at me like, I'm like, okay, if you want to own a clothing store, you should probably work at a clothing store to understand how the vendors work, to understand who should be your vendor, to understand how to market, to understand how to actually decorate the store so that people will come in and want to spend their money. It is best to work under somebody who does a great job, right? And on their dime. They're paying you. So then you learn not only what to do, but you learn what not to do. You do realize when you own a business, and I tell them because I own 2 businesses and a nonprofit, you do realize that all the people got to get paid before you, right? Like you pay everybody's car note, everybody's mortgage, everybody's grocery bill, everybody's clothing bill, everybody's hair bill. You pay all that. Then you pay the rent for all your businesses. You pay the utility for all your businesses. Then you pay your own personal bills if you got any money left over. And then you can go shopping. Miss Entrepreneur, you do realize that that's what that means. Oh, okay. So I love the fact that these young people have entrepreneurial spirits, but we have to help them understand what that means. What are you interested in? What are you good at? What is your talent? Not just owning a business, because to own a business that does not make money makes no sense. And they're going to be living in your back room, eating your oodles and noodles for the remainder of their adult life. Talk to them. Talk to them. So, guys, I hope this video helps somebody. And I pray that you got something out of it. And again, leave your comments below. I love to hear them. And no drama, or, you can state whatever you want to state, but I will block you with nonsense. And I just pray, that hopefully this gave somebody some direction and which way to go and how to go there with their young daughter if they weren't knowing or understanding. So thank you so much. I appreciate you for joining in to Dr. Tasha After Dark Thursday podcast moment. And I'll see y'all next week. Bye.